we'll get into it, but obviously the most important thing of the day, the Warriors even up the series in convincing fashion. Blowout win. Started to run away with the, or not ran away, but started to build a lead to end the second quarter. Pretty much picked up where they left off and had a 30-point lead by the end of the third. First thoughts off the rip of what we think about the Warriors evening up the series.
This man, Stephen Curry, be making Steve Kerr look like a genius, man. It's crazy. This Jermichael Thing Green wasn't working all season. What's it called? Steph wanna try to have a little Magic Johnson game. Got everybody going. It was crazy. Steph had a masterful game. Just watching that was fun. Like that was probably just as fun as watching him just hit however many threes. Just him like actually or just him handling the ball that much and actually just like making it a focus, just to focusing on passing. You could tell he was being real cautious with his. How much turnovers he have today?
Only 3 compared to 12 assists though. That's the thing. 12 assists, three turnovers. Play much more in control. And I feel like at least one of those was when for some reason Steve Kerr had them out there in the fourth quarter when the game was over. Yeah. Like kind of just trying to do something. That was a weird little set. So like really good game. That's probably the highlight of the night, maybe besides Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. 12 assists. 12 assists, only had 13 true shots, 12 field goal attempts. So Steph Curry playing the distributor tonight, taking on, as we see happens a lot with Steph, a team decides they're going to double team, playing pretty tough, playing hard, playing hedge hard in a lot of these spots, and Steph made the pass, Steph made the play, and Steph dominated in that way. Daniel, any thoughts as initially of the game?
Yeah, I came in at halftime of that one and was very surprised to see Michael Green on the basketball court. Or I feel like I even heard him when I was listening on the radio too. Well, I might have heard his name even before then. But just to see him out there making plays even, and just I think I saw him knock down at least 1-3 and saw him finish around the rim. It was a long season, man. A lot of guys had a lot of ups and downs, but Michael seemed like a great pickup too going into the season. I didn't know how well or if he dealt with injury last year, but to get a good game from Jermichael Green is huge, and like everything what Jordan was saying from what I did see in the second half, it seems like we got that. Maybe the part of Stephen Curry that's most slept on is that he just, I guess that's the thing about the Warriors system and the Steve Kerr and everything, all the conversations we've had through the years. Draymond Green being the primary playmaker, I think it's just no one has an understanding of their role and what everyone else's role is supposed to be in the Warriors offense more than Steph Curry does. No one's as much on Steve Kerr's hip as Steph Curry is. No one's as much probably as part of, what they're trying to do and figure out. I think that's probably always been, even when back in the day where the ups and downs with the KD with KD, or that last year with Draymond and everything. But through the years, with how much pick and roll they weren't running, I feel like it's always been Curry and Kerr have worked together to try to figure this out, and I think we start to see how much Curry understood, how much responsibility you can kind of put on Curry, and how much that responsibility can kind of shift into a different direction, and he can still understand how to create opportunities for others.
I think to Jordan's point and your point, kind of bringing them together, I think Jordan said Steph Curry is able to make Steve Kerr look like a genius, but it's kind of that thing, right? It's like the Warriors, we talked about it at the end, we talked about it during the last game, but Warriors probably, they had to make the decision in the first round, we need to find a smaller lineup, we need to split up Looney and Draymond as much as possible. That's where we can be the most effective, and both of them can be the most effective. And instead of going with Jordan Poole or Jonathan Kuminga or somebody who was going to, in Poole's case, kind of demand touches, and in Kuminga's case, one touch and everything, you go with the guy that's going to, Steph Curry has to handle. There's no out here. Steph Curry has to ISO, Steph Curry has to play in pick and roll, and that's what's going to be best for, this set of guys out there. And even more to, Jordan's point about just Steph Curry kind of miracle. The first half, or the first quarter where they try it, they play kind of even. It's good. There's some good. There's some bad there. And then they just start the third quarter kind of really well. Only a +5 for the game, so they don't do too much, but they're able to build the lead off the 10-point to about 15, 16 in his minutes. And he gets hot from three. I think he hits 3 threes, 6 shots all together. And it's just, it's funny. It felt like a classic playoff Warriors thing where, that guy, kind of like Belly last year, this guy that was in and out, pissed you off, maybe had one or two good moments. Like, yeah, he's gonna be. He was exactly what the Warriors needed him to be tonight. So
Also helps having. I feel like Klay playing good really.
yeah,
When Klay plays
That was
good, what the whole team usually is. We look better. Like if Steph if Steph plays good, sometimes the rest of the team could look sloppy, or even Steph's good games could look sloppy. But like when Klay play good, I feel like I don't know. I feel like if Klay plays good, it complements Steph, and then that just complements the rest of the team. Pretty much at the just at the end of the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's where the machine feels like it's rocking the most. I feel like you even look back to like Klay's big games, like all the biggest like moments he's had, the 14 threes. Like it just feels like the machine started turning. Everybody's kind of bought in. Something about Steph Curry's threes amaze you. Klay Thompson's threes make you really hyped for like the team because the ball probably needs to touch like 4 different hands, or like you had to have a really good defensive play that led to the break that got him that shot. So go ahead.
When he gets in that mode, yes, he gets in that mode. It's like, especially these days, at Klay, if they start to feel Klay in that mode, I feel like they just go straight for him, try to get it to him. But yeah, I think it is just that kind of the flow state. Maybe they collectively go back to. But like you said, Draymond and Kerr, though, I guess when Klay gets hot, it is that this is what both of them. This is the best part of the offense. Like this is why they love the way they play. This is it. When Klay is going. Even more so than when Steph's going, because Steph has to maintain such a high level of consistency for the system to work at all. But when Klay's going, especially you can see it now in the last 2 years, probably it's Draymond feels like, oh, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now on the offensive end, where we have to figure out like the ups and downs of Klay wasn't that effective at the beginning. Klay wasn't playing last year, like didn't play most of last season, wasn't that effective at the beginning of the year, and Draymond having to figure out how, Kerr having to figure things out, how to use new players, how to use younger players, how to fit in role players and stuff like that. But when Klay's hitting, it just becomes like, oh yeah, like we have Steph Curry and we have this shooting threat like on the basketball court, and we can just knock out all the action that we used to knock out in a flow state. Everyone's just making the reads, and when Klay's in the zone, it becomes pass first offense as it should be, I guess, is when Klay's hot. You have to work the balance more, I guess, is what they've been learning how to do with Klay being with not having Steph and Klay like most of last season, and not having a different version of Klay Thompson sometimes. Yeah, it should be played up. I think Klay has a couple of good games in this. I think Klay potentially could have a really good series. But I think at least he has one more really good game in it versus this team.
Yeah, no, I think I saw it come together tonight. I think Steph's drawn all of the attention. But yeah, Klay 8 for 11 from 3, 11 for 18 all together, and just really good game. 30 points. And really just a top to bottom, or not even top to bottom effort, but just the vets, the three guys, the three vets showed up. Curry with his 20 and 12, Klay with his 30 points, and Draymond got us 11 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. It was outstanding on defense, really the entire night. Locked up is a strong, AD did not shoot well when Draymond was guarding him, and Draymond has the ability to do that, but also it's weird. Somebody broke down AD's really just been on and off for the entire playoffs. He'll have a 30, then an 11, and a 28, then a 10. So maybe as much as Draymond locked him up, wouldn't be surprised if AD has a great game in Game 3. But yeah, Draymond masterclass. I think a lot of people were saying one of those great nights. But yeah, the big three. If the Warriors have one, they all showed up tonight and they really brought it. That's how you blow out what's turned out to be a pretty good Los Angeles Lakers team.
Man, AD. I should have known. I don't know why I bet on him, because especially, and then when I heard Looney was sick or whatever, and I'm like, why is Looney even around the team right now if he's sick? But it's I should have. I had it in the back of my head AD just went off last game. And I've been following the pattern too. I noticed dude dropped 30, and then next game he got 11 points, only taking 8 shots, and I'm I still did it just because I'm I don't know if we could stop this dude actually. But then as soon as I seen the first quarter, I noticed I was oh, he's not locked in like I thought he was about to be. Just the shot selection, I guess, just. Taking. I don't know. So I feel like he's just too big to be taken what the defense gives him. Sometimes,
it's the
you don't have to do that. as AD.
I feel like the mid range, like the catch and not even a catch and shoot technique, but the one where he
Yeah.
can dribble in for like 15 feet. That's
Yeah.
good. But then like he'll be on the block, and it's just
Yeah.
is the 15-foot turnaround jumper really the best thing you could have got right? And that's like not an AD thing. That's like most dudes I watch that play the post in the NBA. Like that's Joel Embiid, that's Nikola Jokic. So like not like, but just like it's those moments where it's like, oh, that's, but like you said, like, oh, that's the type of night we're getting from AD tonight. You know what I mean? It's one of those nights where he's gonna try to take the 17-foot fadeaway over Draymond, and we'll see. Game 3 probably is not that AD from what we've been seeing all playoffs, but also. He was a great version of AD last game, and the Warriors almost pulled it out. So who knows what happens in Game 3? Go ahead, my bad.
Oh, so it's a weird series, or is it about to be just a weird series?
Yeah, it really is. This is a big game. I feel like the Warriors know they need to take one of these, and like history tells us they probably take one of these next 2. But if it's Game 3, I wonder how much they start feeling like, oh no, like Game 1 was the anomaly. But also the Lakers would come back and have a really good Game 3 and feel like Game 2 was the anomaly. So it's gonna be a wild series because the AD part's interesting. LeBron was great tonight and wasn't that great last night, and we'll see how that kind of lines up with wins and losses. And like I don't know, LeBron not being great, I feel like he was pretty good on defense last game, so he's always gonna be a factor. But like I said, it was a weird series, weird ass series.
LeBron was hot today. You see when he made them review the call that, or I think it was the charge. No, the one on Moody.
No, he tried to block.
He got
Moody
the tech
on three.
He got a tech on the charge, or he tried to take a charge on somebody. It was just nowhere close. It was like, bro, your feet are all the way turned to the side.
That was first half.
Like, and they're moving. Then right after that, he did the review on Moody. I was like, bro, obvious foul.
Yeah. He's turned up. He knows the importance. That was the funny part. I feel like just how we default to complain to others. Like, y'all down 30, man. It's like, I mean, but yeah, that's how everybody does it. Any thoughts on the Lakers side? We talked a little LeBron and Davis. D'Lo keeps hitting shots over Wiggins. I don't know if y'all been noticing that. Like every time he kind of gets that matchup, he's kind of hit his little. Not every time. He's had a couple of moments where he's got the Wiggins matchup and hit a little midi over him. That's been kind of funny to watch.
That's for Bob. That's for Bob and Steve. Just dropping them. That's what y'all missing. Nothing else. Y'all missing nothing else. Just this.
Advertising too. Kyrie coming for that spot. So who knows where D'Lo lands next year?
D'Lo. What's next? I think his next spot could be kind of cool. He at that point now. He go to the East. Team already a little. Everybody, every guard. I feel like
end up back in Brooklyn.
Kind of wants the Magic, but yeah. No, that's.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm saying it's good for every guard, but not every guard probably needs to. Not Orlando doesn't need most of these guards. They just need the right guard. I feel like, if any. But I feel like been trying to like trade D'Lo. I feel like there was somebody else, Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole, yeah.
What is that? People talk about it in the past. But yeah, just funny. D'Lo, go out there, put up 20 and 8.
It'll be fun to watch. Any other thoughts? I feel like we went for about 10 minutes. Felt like quick compared to how long we've talked about the other Warriors games, but also it's kind of just what blowouts end up doing. Any other thoughts before we maybe move on to some other things?
I mean, Moody. I feel like I talked about that before the game. Not on here, but it was just funny that I think. Yeah, I was talking to Ryan and Paulo before the game, saying, "Is Moody or Kuminga going to end up playing or being a part of this series?" Because just could see it. I mean, could see it happening. I guess it's just it feels like now, like at that the game one, may felt like are they going to be? You're asking, are they going to be playable in this series? Are you probably leaning towards not playing them unless you're desperate? But it seems like Moody's been out there, so I don't know how many total minutes he got there.
25 because of the bench.
25 at the bench. Yeah. He played in the first 3 quarters.
If you're looking at the bench minutes, it was the same as what Poole and DiVincenzo got, even if you take those away. Looney played the lowest off the bench minutes with 11, besides like the guys that came in at the end. So he's out there, and I think he's been in the rotation since pretty much game 2. I feel like of the playoffs, right? I think he's kind of been out there.
It's like
the funny. I feel like Jordan, you had the tweet. It's just about like just kind of like.
Yeah,
we've talked about it before.
I said that. Yeah, I said that after he hit the. I think he had something on LeBron.
Yeah, the step back 3.
Yeah, the step back. Yeah, and I was like, bro, this dude is a real hooper, and we'll probably never get to see this dude really hoop. until who knows? Until Curry
Year
gets the
7,
green light,
baby.
or he's gone.
Somebody, one of the Twitter dude or one of the NBA guys was like, "Can't wait till I read like the Anthony Slater article in November about how Moody can't find minutes for some reason after this bullshit." It's just like I don't know. It's just like we've talked about. It's just weird. I probably like more of a Kerr defender than most people, but it's just weird that you couldn't play this guy all season and your rotation right now is as tight as it's ever been, and he's getting minutes every night, and it's like I don't know. It's just hard. NBA is weird though. Playoff basketball is totally different than regular season basketball, and you can see a world where Jonathan Kuminga much more ready for regular season basketball. Moses Moody much more ready for playoff basketball, but it's hard to make it all line up and balance.
It's just, oh yeah, that's where it comes. Yeah, it's the. Do you feel like you can let this guy? Do you have enough time in the regular season to let this guy play through mistakes, or is it worth it? Is it worth it in the? You're balancing, trying to figure out, is it worth it to let this guy play through mistakes in the regular season? And with Kerr, it just be like, bro, you're gonna play him in the playoffs, so don't even play around. Play this dude in the regular season. It's not like no, he's gonna be on the bench 12 minutes. Like, no, we don't have anybody. Like, he's probably gonna have to, like, him or Kuminga. It was like pretty much day one, like him or Kuminga is gonna have to give us something in the playoffs. Like, they're gonna have to give us something. So you gotta you have to ride out the mistakes with these dudes and figure out a way to make them part of the rotation regularly. And it just, yeah, I think he did. I would say he I don't think he did a terrible job, and I don't think. I think they're on the, like I said, the Warriors are good at. I think the Warriors are good at developing when can be good at developing and have shown some good signs over the last 3-4 years with the G League team and with their young players. But yeah, it just feels like like why weren't they just why wasn't one of them just regularly why wasn't one of them just kind of a part of the rotation from the beginning to the end, playing through their mistakes to get to the last 20-30 games of the season where they are just implemented as the 5th, 6th, or 7th guy, especially with all of the injuries that they had this year. Like with how much time Steph and Wiggins missed off top. You're probably just like looking at it. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was going to say that's probably like the last little bit of defense, and not really defense, but I wonder how much of the plan just got ruined because it's like you were just a lot worse than you thought you were going to be at the points in the season where Moody could probably find his like in a typical quote unquote Spurs season where Moody finally starts to crack the rotation and get his opportunity. Just like, oh no, you're like trying to stay 500 with Steph out for the next like week and a half, like type thing. Like, and as much as like again, Moody is more built for the playoffs than Ty Jerome. If you're trying to win a regular season game in like Cleveland or Utah on a Thursday night, kind of see why Steve Kerr is just a little more confident that Ty Jerome's not going to do the 3 stupid things that Moody, again, because like Moody doesn't have the ball enough right now to do the stuff that pissed off Kerr, right? The turnovers in certain spots and everything. Like he's really just out like, I'm going to grab some offensive rebounds, I'm going to cut, I'm going to make an open 3, I'm going to try to play some defense and dive for the ball, and I'm not going to touch the ball. Just more than that. Like honestly, it's just like trust. Like I don't know. It's weird. Basketball's regular season basketball compared to playoff basketball is really weird. It's a different sport. We can get into a million different ways that shown up just in these playoffs, but and leads to this point where Moody, but he's been doing his thing. It was like
Moody's over.
He's over. BS, like he's out here hooping, man. And hopefully it means that there's consistent minutes next season.
I think it's underrated that Jordan Poole thing when you look at all of the kind of, because the Warriors, I've had this before with the young players. Getting them and then not playing them very much and trying to find the minutes for them while we're in contention. So it's kind of in the air. We draft late in the draft, so usually how it ends up going. But Poole, that just probably stands out more than anybody. He got time. Like he's the person, like Jordan Poole got to play, be on the court playing for Steve Kerr, like kind of playing for this coach and playing for his system, like for a whole season really. And there was no pressure, like not like a crazy amount of pressure to win. And I think that's really like, I wish kind of when I look at a lot of the young guys since then, maybe, and maybe even before that, like, realizing like it took them a long time to trust in Looney, but they never got a time where they could like throw Looney out there in the first 4 years of his career and let him play 65 or 70 games. Like Jordan Poole played a lot of games his rookie season where he just got to make a lot of mistakes and he wasn't even athletic enough, I think. Like that first 2-3 months, he was hardly athletic enough to be competent offensive player, nonetheless, a defensive player. But he got to be out there and play through mistakes and just even it was encouraged. Speak to Kerr. Kerr's so interesting. Yeah, I think back to that. Like he did lay a lot of groundwork for probably what helped him win the championship. Like coaching really goes back, probably like giving him the credit. Like all the little things that he did probably to start to probably lay the groundwork and to keep the system intact in that year where we were bad, and then to try to rebuild it the next year. Like it's a lot, but then you get to I guess what we're talking about. What brought this up was just the Moody thing, or just just hard to actually balance the two worlds of trying to build a playoff roster, trying to figure out how you're gonna contend, and then also develop guys who are in their first 2 years of their career. So also get them time.
Yeah, it's probably why Looney, it makes sense, but as you're going through it, Looney's probably the better comp for what it's going to have to look like for Moody. Because, like, you do the pool comp, and, like, the thing in my head is, like, the difference is, like, oh, those 2 seasons you're talking about where Poole got those chances are the 2 seasons the Warriors didn't make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So it's just ends up being, like,
exactly,
yeah, the difference between the kind of things. But we'll see. I'm interested to see how the path goes. I think a lot of people, and, like, me included, like it's hard not to be frustrated with like you couldn't find any time for this guy, and now he's like your rotation is like 7.5 guys deep, and he's playing every night, and it's just kind of wild that there were no minutes for this guy. But I think the encouraging part is like, if we were worried that Steve Kerr was never going to trust this guy to be a factor on this team, like if anything, these last 6 games have shown us like, no, Steve Kerr knows probably maybe more than any of us that this is a guy that can contribute on winning playoff basketball teams. So we'll see. We'll see how the rest of it. It's 2 more years on the rookie deal, or late second round pick. No, he was early. He was lottery. Yeah, 2 more years on the contract. We'll see how they go. Any other? I think that was good to go, Moody. Any other thoughts on the game before we maybe move on to a couple other things? Good. Okay, let's.
One last thing I'll say is, I don't know if that was Kerr or Mark Jackson. They used to run out them bench lineups, blowout lineups. They used to give up games. At some point, we was running out. We had no.
Oh yeah, that was in the back of my positions. Head when he was had a bunch Steph of big and Draymond out there for some reason. Still, my bad.
But no, it was funny that Gary Payton II is like the perfect, like he's can serve potentially many roles in the NBA as a role player, but he's kind of perfect for like if when you go up 20 points and you do need somebody to just like feel like he can make the energy of the game remain fun while also like doing all the little things to make sure that the other team doesn't come back. Like what happens in the blowout? Like, I've seen teams, especially in the NBA these days, like the 3-point shot, 25, 30-point lead in 1 quarter. Like that's not it. Like teams can cut that shit down. Yeah, so I feel like I noticed that. It was like, I like Gary out there with them, like with Kuminga and Moody, even when they think they left Steph and Draymond out there a little too long. But I've never probably been as comfortable as I would be probably with a guy like Gary Payton. Like, just forget, like he's not really playing as much in the core rotation probably since the first couple of games of the King series, maybe even if then. But it's like still like, he's just the perfect Warrior, man. Everything about Gary.
I'll see. Gary Payton. I couldn't tell. Gary Payton said something to LeBron going in at halftime. Gary Payton Sr. said something. LeBron looked like he was about to respond. He just kept walking up. Couldn't tell what the interaction was.
The Warriors is Gary Payton is the Warriors. Shannon Sharp. That's pretty good. Interesting track going forward. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Gary Payton played for the Lakers. He won the Western Conference title with the Lakers. That's pretty funny. It all crosses over.